think most people spend their lives chasing big moments, big achievements, big goals, big outcomes. We grow up being told that life is about reaching something, like an endpoint, getting somewhere, becoming someone. And for a long time, I think I believed that as well, that one day when certain things finally happened, you know, when the goals I had were reached, when the money was there, when my life was looking a certain type of way, that I'd feel successful and that happiness would come with that success. But the older I get, the more I begin to realize is that life isn't actually made up of big moments. It's made up of small ones. Quiet mornings, conversations, walks, moments where nothing particularly exciting is actually happening, but you're actually present for it. And that's a big thing for me, is now that kind of presence. And I think that's where a lot of people miss life, and it just passes them by, because we're so focused on where we're going as humans that we forget to experience where we are. We sacrifice today for tomorrow. We sacrifice this moment that we have right now for some future moment that may or may not even come. And without realizing it, we end up living most of our lives somewhere in the future, not really knowing where, just somewhere. You know, thinking about what is this next, thinking about what needs to happen, thinking about what we still need to achieve later down the line, in a day, a week, a month, a year. And I think a big thing I've started to realize is, and it's a saying, that with one eye fixed on the destination, you only have one eye left to guide you along the journey. And for me, I find it so true, because when we're constantly staring at the end point, you miss everything that's happening along the way, right here, right now. The conversations with the people you love and cherish, the quiet moments, the small experiences that actually make up your life. And the strange thing, those small moments are where most of the meaning actually lives, not in the big wins, not in the big milestones that you achieve or you thought would bring you that happiness and that success, but in the everyday things we usually overlook as humans. I think a lot of people believe happiness is something you arrive at, it's a destination, an endpoint, something waiting for you somewhere in the future. But I'm starting to realise that happiness doesn't really work like that. It's not something you chase. It's something that shows up quietly while you're doing what you need to do every single day. The small daily habits, when you're growing as an individual, learning, improving, moving towards something meaningful that's actually going to make a difference for you as an individual. Happiness becomes more of a byproduct along the way. So it's not actually the goal itself. And that's really a different way of thinking about life, or a different way for me, compared to how I've previously viewed life. Because it means success and happiness isn't really the end destination. They're not the end goal. They're just processes. They show up while you're becoming the kind of person you want to be, while you're putting one foot in front of the other when you don't think you really can, while you're saying, you know, not going to achieve something, but really and truly, it's actually the person that you're going to become in the process, and enjoying that process, learning from it, growing from it, being where your feet actually are, not constantly chasing what it is you think you want. And I think, you know, the big thing for me is to be where my feet are, because so many people aren't really where they are. They're not present. I know previously that I wasn't. They're physically in one place, but mentally somewhere else, thinking about yesterday or what just happened, thinking about tomorrow, or, you know, week's time, a month's time, a year's time, thinking about what they should be doing next. But rarely as humans, you know, do we think about just actually being here in the moment right now. And when you live like that long enough, life starts to feel like it's moving really fast. Weeks turn into months. Months then turn into years. And you start wondering where the time actually went. But maybe the reason life feels like it moves so fast is because as humans, most of us, we're not really present for most of it. We're always somewhere else in our minds. we're not actually where our feet are. So lately I've been trying to think about things a little differently. Less about chasing big outcomes, which I've done previously. Less about needing everything to happen immediately. I know there's a big thing of it, like in our age, is like instant gratification, but we have to start appreciating the process more, the daily routines, the daily habits, the things we don't want to do but we get done, the simple moments, the small things that quietly make life what it is. Because the truth is, the road is just as important as the end. I think that's something I'm starting to realise. Actually, it might even be more important than what the end destination actually is, because most of life is spent on the road, if not all of life, not at the actual end destination, because we always want more. And maybe life isn't about constantly chasing something bigger. Maybe it's about learning to notice the things that are already here the whole time, the things that we had, the little things.